Hello guys and welcome to this video. Oh yo, this was bad. It gets worse. Stories from Reddit, but first don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more. Let's go! A work friend told me about a party where some of his friends decided to prank a mate of his. The target was one of the underdogs in the group and he was off on the boot of their japes. In advance of the party, the pranksters jigsawed a hole in the top of a coffee table that was going to be thrown out. With a cloth thrown over it, the coffee table looked fine. Anyway, when the party was well and truly underway, at one point the host suggested they hold a seance. Everyone who was in on the prank agreed, and a large group of guests clustered around the coffee table where, unbeknownst to the intended victim, one of the guests was hiding, concealed under the table and the cloth. So the seance started and the host started intoning spookily something like, "Eddie," I hear a voice. "Eddie, it's someone who knows you, Eddie." The guy at this point is white and starting to tremble while the room is chuckling behind the hands. The voice wants you to go closer to the table so you can hear their voice. "Eddie, closer, closer." Eddie is wide-eyed with terror at this point and goes close to the table. At the signal, the guy hiding underneath the table stuck his arm up through the hole top of the coffee table as if a spooky foam was rising up from the table surface under the sheet. Eddie flipped. Eddie freaked. While the room laughed, he collapsed in tears, hyperventilating, screaming, sobbing, thrashing around. He was past inconsolable. It seemed like he'd lapsed into absolute psychological breakdown, and it didn't at all help when the prank was revealed to him. As he lay on the floor hysterical and literally inconsolable, one of the guests finally made the decision to call his mother, who was furious when she heard about the prank, because Eddie's father passed away a few days before and he hadn't told anyone. In the end, it seems they had to call 999 and the medic arrived who sedated him. I don't know if he went in for observation or was hallowed home, but you can bet that the host got grounded and ass kicked by parents left, right and center after a world got round. This is a long one, but I promise it's worth it. A buddy of mine was cat-sitting for a friend of his while the guy was out of town on a vacation. My buddy didn't have a car, so the dude told him that if he needed to go out and pick up more cat food or anything, he could borrow the car. At the time, my buddy was living right down the street from this guy, staying at his parents' house. So my buddy was just going over for a few hours each day to feed the cat and keep it company, then going back home. Meanwhile, he's also been flirting with this woman online. She lives several states away, but he feels like they seem to be getting pretty serious. So he decides to take some liberties, really push the envelope on where he pick up cat food from, and he takes his friend's car on a little multi-state road trip. This is insane, right? Just atrociously bad judgment, especially since someone does need to feed the cat. To solve this, he left his parents a note read, "I am camping in the woods behind our house. Please go over to and feed his cat. I'll let you know when I'm home." Boom! Problem solved, right? Except that the woods behind our house are about 20 yards deep. Takes less than 5 minutes to walk through them and come out into the neighboring housing development. So his parents were looking for him, calling out for him, and couldn't find him. They got worried and contacted a family friend, a local police officer. He subsequently got a hold of the fire department. There was a full-on search party combined through about 1/5 of an acre of woods. And surprisingly, they were coming up with nothing. This was before cell phones were common, so my buddy was completely unaware that his plan had fallen. He was cruising along on his 12-hour drive, expecting to get to this girl's house just in time for dinner. Except he didn't have a GPS, so he got lost, very lost. Like by the time he turned up at this woman's house, it was almost midnight. When he got there, she was crying her eyes out. He assured her that it was okay, he was fine, he wasn't hurt or in a wreck or anything, he just got lost. And she said, No, I wasn't worried about you. My dad just died in a motorcycle accident." So he bailed on his cat-sitting duties, stole a car, and inspired his parents to file a missing person just so he could accurately watch a woman cry for a few hours and then drive back home. Insane. Was headed to Honduras for a college class, had to take anti-malaria pills for a few days before going, and take a pill every day of the trip. Fine, the first 2 days on the pill, we all leave to the plane. Get to the airport, get on the first plane. By the time we got off, we had an hour to get to the connecting flight halfway across the airport. Stomach starts rumbling, I think I'm just hungry. Get on the plane, I'll sit next to the kindest couple I've ever met. Introductions. When we start the 3-hour flight. And that's when I realized I had to shit bad. I couldn't get to the bathroom. The entire class of 20 plus college students all had to piss, so I just leaned back, hopeful they'll be done soon. They aren't done soon. Half an hour until the plane lands, I start getting airsick. I grab a bath bag, the sweet wife is rubbing my back and telling me it'll be okay. We are landing soon. Realize I'm not, in fact, airsick. My shits were so bad I was about to throw up. Eventually, plane lands. We are on the ground. Then we are told there's a 15-minute delay and to sit in our seats. I'm literally crying at this point. The poor lady I just met is doing her best to comfort me, still thinking I was just a bit airsick. We finally are able to get off the plane. I had to grab my 40-pound bag full of scuba gear and my backpack. I swear I left the dust cloud and jumped over the last 5 steps of the external plane dock. Get to the bathroom, the area all over some poor rinky airport bathroom, and then notice there's no toilet paper. And it's a wet foreign toilet, no water in the bowel. I pray to 9 different gods, flush, and leave with no dignity, and discover there's a massive line for the passport area. I'm last in line. One of the professors had to scoot back past 50 people to stand with me and one of other classmates. Customs goes fine. We are about to get on the bus to the resort, and after the rumblies. A 45-minute bus ride later, we get told which beach huts are ours. I get the last one in line. It's a good mile walk. I waddle my way down with the 5 other girls in the beach villa, trying to act normal. A guy drives past us on his golf cart, offers us a ride. I jump on. Turns out there are lots of potholes on the gravel road, and I nearly shit myself all over my dorm mates for a week. We finally get to the villa. Everyone is checking it out, taking their sweet ass time. There were a lot of flamingos. If anyone happens to know which resort we were at, bright pink everywhere. We finally get inside. I fly to the bathroom, sit down, and discover it's an open air villa. The walls are 8 feet high, but above that is open air. Everyone can hear me as I crisp on the toilet. And there's no toilet paper again. Finally finish, walk ashamed to grab my bags. Turns out I lost my main suitcase somewhere between me putting it on the bus and getting to the resort. I have to go to the 12 or so other villas, knocking and asking if anyone has seen my duffel bag and huge blue suitcase. Nobody has. So I go to the main office, mail walk and all. Rumblings start again, of course. I bag a ride on the luggage golf cart, which by some miracle had my shit on it. The nice worker takes me back to the villa and suite, toilet paper free, relief. Then I get out of the bathroom and find out someone overbooked the villa. It was me and 5 other girls. There were 2 single beds and a king bed in the master. The girls pair off, 3 taking the master, 2 others taking a single bed each. I volunteered to sleep on the wicker couch, set my sheet up, no blankets or pillows. After an hour of riding the closets, we discover one thin pillow and a scratchy wool blanket. So everyone tosses me one finger off their bed, a pillow from one of them, thicker blanket from another. The girls in the king bed toss me 2 pillows and a second blanket. After all this, I realize I have to take my malaria meds. And put 2 and 2 together, I am severely allergic to them. So after a shitty day, I discover I have to 2 weeks in a malaria-infused country with no anti-malarials. And they attract mosquitoes like your hillbilly Uncle Henry collects felonies. The end, right? Nope. Turns out the nights on Rotan are windy as fuck and cold to boot. And guess who was in the living room with the entire wall facing the ocean being made of slate doors? Spent the night cuddled up on a couch that I don't fit in, being 6'3", praying I avoided tomorrow's shit. And yes, it did get worse from there. But this comment is long enough already. I'll just say it had a lot to do with severe seasickness and the kindly Honduran captain who rubbed my back, called me baby and honey, and hand-fed me watermelon so I wouldn't dehydrate while dry heaving over the edge of his boat for 2 hours. Bless him. 21st birthday drinking story. It's a bit of a read, but the left turn is worth it. For people that live outside the States, when you turn 21, legal drinking age, there is a small 2-hour window from turning 20 to 21 at midnight before bars stop serving where you can drink. Anyway, few of my buddies wanted to have a good time and take me out. My mother told me to swing by the house around 4 PM after my night out, and we'd be going out for a family dinner. My stepfather was going to a poker game with his brothers and would crash at his place. Little brothers all had sleepovers. So I get picked up by my friends, sure as shit have a great time. Woke up feeling like 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag full. Though food for sure. Ring up, my mom says to swing by my stepdad isn't home yet. Buddies drop me off, stepdad isn't answering his phone calls, texts, etc. My uncle, whom he went to play poker with, said he never had a poker game. Calls go out to all family members. My aunt has a friend that was a cop, so she calls. Stepdad was found about 40 miles away from home in jail for trying to pick up a 14-year-old girl from the internet. So here I sit, hungover, hungry, my little brothers are bawling their eyes out, my mother is losing her mind, then my aunt says to turn on local news. Sure as shit in true, catch a predator, from we see my stepfather walk into a house and get slammed against the wall by a handful of cops. 222 men caught in the sting total. Now, out of these 222 men, can you guess which one was willing to go on television and talk about getting caught? Fucking right, my stepdad of course. Within the next 3 hours, phones would either be blowing up with texts or calls. Everyone at my job knew cause I worked with my stepdad. Few days pass and my mom goes to the bank to get cash for bills, food, gas, etc. Found out he drained the account the day after getting arrested to pay for his lawyer. Stepdad gets fired while in lockup, so now it's me at 21, working for $10 an hour now, supporting a family of 4 including myself. Mom files for divorce. Few weeks go by, he's out on bail living with his parents cause he can't come home yet cause there are minors present in the home. Police show up about a week later asking if I have alibis for a handful of dates. Turned out he would on occasion pretend to be me when chatting with young girls online. 1,600 plus pages of AIM chat logs recorded with various people pretending he was me. Thank Christ the dates in question I was either with family that could confirm or I was at my other job electronically punched in. I get cleared, he finally gets convicted and sentenced to a whooping 1.5 years in prison. Ended up losing our house, my 2 jobs, had to briefly move out of state for a while. And that's it for today, thank you for watching and don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more. See you!